Yeah, I'm good. I'll stay out of
I'd say
Venezuela.
Vietnam for $60. I mean, you could run a damn near, entire what do you call that server station.
And so that actually is linking into some of the problems we're seeing, which is a centralization of, I won't say all, but most blockchains in China, because electric's so cheap, the technology is so cheap, and the Chinese government's cool with people mining crypto. That's where all the centralization of mining is. So,
Well, it would make sense. I mean, in America or a lot of other countries, you have the central bank, and it controls the amount of cash that's produced every year. So it's tied to an economy. There's only so much of it. There's a rarity involved. Whereas what you're saying is you can mine as much as you want, and the cheaper it is to mine, the more wealthy you can become just because.
right, but again, it's just because you're running a mining rig doesn't guarantee you have the fastest one and you're going to win anything. It's essentially a lottery every single block. So for something like Bitcoin, the block time is 8 minutes. I think Ethereum it's 4 minutes. Arc it's 8 seconds. Dash is down there, and I think it's 5 to 10 seconds as well. They all have different block times, and there's different things that go into that. You can fit less things in with a shorter block and less complex operations, I believe. But
there's nothing that says there's a cap on how many blocks can be produced, or is there something in the program that says you can only produce this many blocks?
Oh, it's 1 block per every whatever time you set it as.
Okay, so
a block is just essentially you can think of that as a block of transactions.
But what I'm saying is if you're able to just keep running things 24/7, you win the lottery every so often. There's really no limit to how many can be produced within a year, except for the amount of time that it takes. So a year divided by 8 minutes.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
The times you can win though depend on the blockchain as well. So Arc, if you win one, you go to the bottom of the list and you work your way back up. So they try and make it a little bit more fair. They're distributed.
So you have a chance every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just go to the bottom list, and every 10 seconds, you're just kind of raising up the list of possibilities.
Yep.
Okay. So it could literally take you, a day to produce a block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you might, if you have a shitty old system or your system is just not quite cutting edge enough, you might never win a block.
Okay. But, how many blocks? I mean, is there only 1 block up for auction, or is there like a million?
No, it's 1 block only 1 block per every block time, I guess. So
is available. Okay.
For Bitcoin, it's every 8 minutes there's only 1 block.
So if you have 1 million people competing for this 1 block every 10 seconds, it could literally take you 1 million times before you win another one.
Exactly.
So 10
depends.
million seconds.
It depends.
I mean,
on the blockchain.
Oh, that kind of, it's kind of weird.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Bitcoin's not that way. Bitcoin is just whoever solves it first gets it. This does take a lot of electricity, and that's a concern. But it's still all the blockchains.
Bitcoin's what, like $8,000 or $10,000 a coin right now?
I think it's at 6 or 7. I actually have it up on one of my screens over here.
Shit! If you win one of those a week, you're doing pretty good.
Well, no, exactly, and that's the only reason people continue doing it. Even though the price is down a lot, so it's actually at $34.95 right now.
$3,495.
Yep.
Okay.
And Ethereum's at $109.
Well, this kind of touches a little bit on what we were talking about economy and attaching it to the two. It still seems like there's no tangible factor for its value other than people liking it or not liking it. It's kind of like a movie star.
Well, exactly like that. So
it's almost like it's a popularity contest.
It's exactly what it is. So you hear a little bit of media about this or that, and that's why we saw in 2017 just a crazy amount of speculation. And I mean, that's when people were making Ferraris and just multimillionaires.
Well, I was watching. I had a couple of friends that became millionaires overnight.
And then it could be worth a can of soup tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, they sold off just right. But, I mean, some people, they really did lose everything.
Yeah.
But at $3,400, I mean, that's still a pretty good deal. I mean, if you were to get, say, 100 coin in 2017 till, now, it may not be the same value it once was. But, 100 coin, 35, I mean, that's
you're still
$340,000?
You're still making good money off speculation. But
no, that's 3 million, excuse me.
My thought. Well, I had mentioned him, my good friend. I mean, he started investing back in 2012. He's took out $12 million, and now he's off doing great. He cashed out at the end right around December, November.
I can imagine the parties that he has.
Oh my God, he's a really laid back guy. He doesn't party at all.
You got to introduce me. It has to happen.
He's living in Michigan now. I'm not flying to Michigan.
He's gonna love Hawaii.
He's been in Hawaii. He spent 3 years here.
Yeah, he didn't hang out with me.
Anyway, so the important thing to note here is you've got proof of work, and that's that really competitive thing I was talking about. Then there's proof of stake. That is just say you own enough of this cryptocurrency, and that's another place we're seeing China really centralize authority and do a lot of the mining. So,
well, I heard that basically the more you own or the more people mining it, the more control you have over the currency.
yes. So if you're good at if you have enough mining resources dedicated, so there are big things called mining pools. That's just tons and tons of servers all in one building, and you can join a mining pool so you can contribute to it as well. And you're just renting space from them, or they're using your processing power in your computer.
Right, but if they get one and there's, say, 500 of you, you can actually split that blockchain or that coin into 500 pieces. Everybody gets a piece, right?
Yes. But more of my concern here that I don't think I'm hitting on well enough is this stuff's all centralized in China. So if China wants to change this blockchain, they can because they have the control. They have all the mining rigs.
I kind of like that. It's kind of like when we let China buy our debt, and now all we have to do is give them the finger. We don't have to pay them back, but the deficit went down.
Except they decide that all this, a couple $1 million worth of Ethereum or Bitcoin just went to this wallet that we happen to own, and now we're selling it, and now it's worth a can of soup.
I love that idea.
I don't know why you like that idea. That is the instability that can be created there.
That's kind of why I like that idea, because this instability, okay, for my perspective, without chaos, there wouldn't be order, because there would be no reason to have that order. So that chaos is out there. We're going to come up with an idea as Americans to give it tangibility and stability, because we're going to be like, okay, now we see all the problems with it. Now here's how we got to fix it. And then in a few years, we're going to overstep our bounds and just F everybody over.
Exactly.
And, make it really valuable and hard to use.
That's generally what happens.
But I like the middle ground. I like the fact that China can turn it into a can of soup, because I let China have as much as they want to. They're going to feel all powerful, and then let them tank themselves. While Americans pick up the picture and say, well, maybe we should do something that the Chinese can't do that with.
I guess, first we need to fix all the stupid policy. It is just ridiculous, the legislation we have to deal with right now to do anything in a crypto space. Everything's called a freaking security just because they're scared and they don't know what it is.
You can't even make a bottle of liquor or take a dump without some kind of policy. I got to tell you, I'm kind of sick of the government as it is right now. I love America. I'm just not too happy with the political situation, how they do shit.
Who is? That's how we got things founded, like the Libertarian Party.
Exactly. So I got another dumb question to throw at you, though. What is FUD?
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That is, I'm sure you know about that with your background in economics, but it's
suicide.
I guess, yeah. People were mortgaging their houses to buy crypto back in 2017, and then they went freaking broke. Some of them became multi-billionaires if they timed the market right, but we all know that timing the market's a terrible decision unless you really have some insights.
Well, it's kind of like dodging a bullet. With your eyes closed and having no idea when the guy's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But, I asked it the way I did is because you're kind of a lot more educated on Bitcoin than I am. So I might as well throw some of these questions at you because you're relating it quite well. I'm understanding more about Bitcoin already.
Well, perfect.
And I'm hoping our audiences, and I really think it's a great idea. You should really do a video on how it works, how to mine, step by step, a little bit more visual aspect of it. I think there's a ton of people who are even younger than I am and still don't understand it any better than I do. And I really think Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or Ethereum, any of these ideas, there's a future in it. Eventually, we're not going to want to print money. It's wasteful.
Agreed.
It's expensive. And the government's going to want to track everything.
And it takes so damn long. Just to buy something with a debit card or credit card. It's 2 or 3 minutes. Can I just scan a freaking QR code and you see it then go out of my Jack's wallet into your wallet?
Well, I've got things down now at my company or other places I buy things where I just slide in my card or I use the near field.
Okay, those
tech.
NFC things are pretty good.
It takes all of about 10 seconds. PayPal, as much as I don't really like PayPal specifically.
I fucking hate them.
Well, Venmo is PayPal.
I know.
But it's working better. They're kind of pulling their head out of their butt. But
right.
the idea is, whether it's PayPal or it's Google Pay, it's actually a fairly fast transaction now. But if I have to take 10 seconds to mine a coin, and then it takes me an additional, 10 or 15 seconds to I guess, spend it, that's not so bad. On the other hand, though, if it's worth $5 now and I'm buying my cup of coffee and in the middle of the transaction it's worth 50 cents,
right?
Why would I really want to use it?
So, and that was a problem back in 2017. The speculation was insane. you'd see one news article. It's complete bullshit, no backing whatsoever, saying Ethereum's going to the moon because of this or that. So everybody's buying Ethereum. So within 30 minutes, the price doubles from $100 to $200. And
right. We did the same thing
up.
with insider trading. People start putting articles out that have no backing, and the average Joe doesn't want to take the time to what do you call that?
Real research.
Research it. But if the guy's got a name, I mean, basically, I'm a brewer. I'm a professional. If I tell you to put X number of grain in per gallon to produce this much alcohol, you want to trust that. But if I'm going to tell you that, at the end of a few years, I've got a good backing, my name is Reuters, and I'm like, hey, if you throw grain in your toilet, you're going to get a golden egg. You know how many people are going to throw grain in the toilet?
You'll have a lot of clogged up toilets.
Exactly. That's cherry bomb. But you know what I'm saying here. It's important to have some form of regulation, some kind of centralization.
I disagree with you there.
Some regulation.
I let the market control it. Let the market handle it.
That's still
that you're going to get a lot more fluctuation.
That's capitalism.
You will get less stability, but you get a lot more fear whenever the Fed. Everyone's freaking out because what if the Fed raises interest rates? That causes such craziness in the market because regulation trying to stabilize the market. All it does is screw the market up more.
They're stabilizing certain things, but you got to figure there's political reason for it. It's kind of crappy. But the idea that your dollar is going to be worth $1 tomorrow.
Well, no shit. A dollar will also be $1.
Right.
I care about how much that dollar buys me.
That's what I'm saying. What you buy today should be what you buy tomorrow. Or, there's going to be a difference over a few years. But it's way better than, I could buy a house with my Bitcoin today, or I can buy a car with my Ethereum today. And tomorrow, if I didn't spend it today, it's now worth a tin can. I can recycle a can for it. That is
or a Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. But that's too much instability.
I agree.
And
I agree.
Regulation doesn't have to be how it's spent, but it could be how much is produced annually.
So the reason
to give it more value, to hold its value.
The reason I disagree with you and feel that we could still get our own stability with a free market is by actually using it. The reason we saw so much speculation is because there's total liquidity. Nobody has it tied up in anything. They're just buying, selling, and trading.
Well, you told me last time that some things are attached to tangible items. So you got some of the crypto.
There are like 3 or 4 that are pegged to the U.S. dollar.
Right, but they have not gained that popularity or usage yet.
Right. Well, they did strictly for the fact that you want to sell and put it in something stable while the price drops or goes up or whatever the case may be.
Right.
There are some actually banana coin. They were coming out of Vientiane, Laos. They have a bunch of banana fields over there, and so they did sell some banana coin that is pegged to however many kilos.
The price of bananas.
Ladyfinger bananas, yes.
I mean, at least it's tied to something tangible.
Right.
I mean, for instance, no matter what you do with the economy, at some point you know exactly how much gold you can buy.
Right.
But gold is now becoming more liquid.
It's a finite resource still.
It is.
And a dollar is not a tangible thing. I can touch a dollar.
You can touch it, but it's made of paper.
Right. It's nothing more than a faith of the U.S. government.
But because it's a rarity, it's used and everybody understands its value, you can trust in it that it's always going to be there at the moment.
Well, how do you figure that? If OPEC stops trading with the U.S. dollar as their reserve currency, I don't see its value remaining much longer.
Well, because it's not based on oil prices. What about other commodities?
No, I'm saying, but the world reserve currency is the dollar. Once your biggest asset stops being traded in the U.S. dollar, I think the value drops considerably.
I was reading an article. It's kind of fun. OPEC is about to be eating oil because it looks like the world, including America, is going to start putting up a lot more new-style nuclear power plants, and uranium is about to replace oil as the commodity of choice or the most valuable resource.
Who's the biggest uranium trader in the world, then? Who controls that?
Well, actually, it's a group of 4, but most of them are based in America, and a lot of this uranium is coming out of Russia.
I'm pretty sure the Clintons sold some uranium mines to Russia, though.
They sold uranium.
Oh, okay.
Through a corporation out of Washington State. But you got to really figure uranium is also finite, just like oil, but it lasts a lot longer, and the stuff's worth thousands of dollars per ounce.
But then there's the disposal concerns.
New technology with things like salt mines and what is that, rotating reactors.
Okay.
We're getting, currently you're getting 4% usage before the rod is no good. So say you got 100 grams, you can use 4 grams of it over a 20-year period, and then the rest of it's just crap.
Oh, okay.
So what they're doing now is they're creating pellets with depleted uranium for some things, or a salt mine is